Hello foodie fans, welcome to the Big Food Talk, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. I'm your host, Sal Conca. This show supports restaurants, chefs, and food pioneers with your help. Head to bigfoodtalk.com to make your donation today, or check out our fun apparel line with proceeds going directly to participating restaurants. Special thanks to the Long Island Food Council, Dine LI Facebook group, and Yelp Long Island for supporting this episode. Today I'm speaking with Vinny and Mike from Premier Payroll Solutions, a local business servicing the hospitality industry. I thought it was important for you to hear their story and get a behind-the-scenes look at how the restaurant industry has been affected. It's great to hear their positivity and their info they offer to restaurants on how to prepare for the new normal. Let's hear from Vinny and Mike. Hey guys, welcome to the Big Food Talk. I'm so happy to have you here today. Vinny, Mike, how are you guys doing through all this?
Awesome. Thank you, Sal. Thanks for having us on the show. We're doing good. We're hanging in there. We know that there's so many people affected by this, and we are in the essential category and doing our part to help out. It's certainly some tough days, but certainly happy to do our piece to keep business continuity for what it is for now. We don't know what the new normal is going to be, but Premier is a company that certainly wants to help out and get us through these tough times, especially in the hospitality segment. As you know, Sal, a lot of our business is there. So we are affected, but I think keeping positive is what's most important right now, just on so many levels, whether it's personal or the professional front.
Absolutely. Vinny, how about you? How you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us as well. As to add to what Mike said, it's they're very trying times for everyone. I think the main thing to kind of keep front and center is just is empathy, really, to understand what everyone else is going through, not just to keep it business, but to also find out about the people, how they're doing, how their families are doing. Working from home is not the easiest thing, especially for those that have children. So it adds a unique dynamic to the situation, but we're trying to, understand everyone's situation and address any needs that any of our clients are having on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, we've all been thrown into being homeschool teachers now, as well as parents. I have a 10-year-old at home, and making him be quiet during these interviews is, got to explain a lot on that side of things, because I'm doing 2 or 3 a day sometimes. So everybody's making sacrifices. My little cousin, it's his 6-year-old, his birthday today. So, everybody's dealing with all sorts of stuff. So I had you guys on because I'm speaking to restaurants, obviously, but you guys are deeply connected in the hospitality industry. Can you give me a background? What is Premier Payroll Solutions?
Sure. So we're a boutique payroll service bureau. We specialize in restaurant and hospitality, and it wasn't by accident that was the choice. The team has extensive experience, over 100 years in payroll processing or back office administration of payroll, but essentially all ties to the hospitality industry. So myself in particular, working and having some ownership in several restaurants. Vinny has an extensive background in the hospitality segment as well. He could elaborate further. And our partner, Stacy, who heads up the operations team, has extensive experience leading teams that process payroll for other service bureaus. So we brought together the best of the best. And I think you'll hear us say the words. We try to be an extension of our clients' business. We understand how much compliance is being forced upon restaurant owners, especially here in New York. So we try to ease that burden. We say, you do what you do best inside the restaurant. Let us help you on the payroll piece. And being an extension of their business, good communication helps that process.
Absolutely. So in a sense, how does the services you provide, how does that help streamline a restaurant and their processes?
By understanding the restaurant industry on a whole, is somewhat different than a normal payroll process. Most of these employees aren't sitting behind a desk and are able to, fill out documents before they, come aboard. It's often kind of very quick. Here's a W-4, fill it out, leave it on my desk and, grab an apron type of mentality. So, we, as Mike said, we try to be an extension of your business. So whether you're going to be more on a electronic self-service type of payroll process, or if you need the help on a manual process, we understand that most restaurants and companies in hospitality need a little bit of both. So we understand that, and since we get that, customers feel a little more at ease when speaking to us and relying on us that we can help them week in and week out.
Yeah, and I guess in the restaurant industry, it's no surprise there's such a dichotomy between established restaurants who have huge staffs versus the owner operator chef who has smaller staff, and the amount of business experience that each of those brings to the table, right? And how they need that help. Do you see the big difference in like what size clients do you guys generally service? Is it small to mid-sized restaurants? Is it larger scale corporate operations?
It is a little bit of everything. We certainly do a lot of Main Street, and Main Street could be a 20 to 40 person restaurant. They could be multi-unit operators, but still operating on Main Street. We have franchise organizations, so the range in the hospitality segment most of the time is somewhere 10, 15, 20, up into the hundreds, over several different locations. Our largest client has 2,000 employees, and so that's a pretty wide range. But essentially, they're all held to the same compliance. And we have a slogan here where every client matters, and that holds true. But our smallest client, not necessarily hospitality, could be a sole proprietor, and they're going to have questions and different needs, especially with this loan process currently. And we've been there for all of them. We know how vital it is to turn around information quickly. And, we're playing our part to help them get a piece of support and assistance, through these times.
Sure. And so obviously after COVID, some restaurants are operating, some are not. How has your business specifically been affected by COVID from the domino effect of the restaurant? So how are you guys dealing with this right now? And how has your business been affected?
Pretty significantly. 2/3 of our business is in the restaurant and hospitality segment. And as you know, some are closed, some are operating on a limited staff. So it's all rolling downhill, and we are in the essential category. Again, knowing what our role is to ensure that those that can get paid are getting paid timely and accurately. And it is tough. Look, Vinny and I say this all the time to each other. We're certainly not frontline workers. Our hats go off to those and the families and all that are affected on the health side. But if our part is ensuring that someone knows that they're getting paid or has payroll questions, and we're here to answer, we've had to adjust. Only 3 of us work in the building in a safe fashion. Others are working remotely. So you can imagine the way we've had to just shift resources and essentially man the phones. Being here myself in the office, I've been on a cell phone and landline continuous throughout the day, and at times, sometimes pushing calls in different directions, depending if it's operational or Vinny and I being on the business development side. So it's been challenging. We try to find the positive and hope that this comes to an end so we could find new normalcy. I think those are the words many are using.
Absolutely. I think, we're all know that this is going to come to a conclusion at some point, and figuring out what that looks like is, all up in the air based on a number of factors, which we won't get into that because that ends up being
A whole other conversation.
whole other conversation. We'll be here for an hour. But With your extensive experience and the amount of clients that you guys have, what are you seeing from some of the restaurants? Like, what advice do you have for restaurants that may not be operating right now? What can they be doing to keep operations going right now?
Yeah, so a few things is, not sitting back is the first thing that we tell a lot of the restaurants. You can very easily, crawl into the fetal position and go, and totally remove yourself. But, take the time to really learn, what this is going to look like when we do get past this. So, a lot of restaurants obviously have gone to takeout, curbside drop off, deliveries, services. And for the most part, a lot of these restaurants, it wasn't a big part of, their business. So, take the time to really find out, what on your menu delivers well, what can travel, what doesn't, to keep the integrity of, of your product. Test out the delivery services that are out there. There's so many of them, the fees that they charge, understanding, can it be done, yourself, or do I need to outsource? Take that time to really understand all the different options. Some of the other things is, look at it in a positive light. Most restaurants that have been open for a long time, might need a fresh coat of paint. This is the time to maybe, to do those things, where you've always said, I need to do this, I need to fix the bathroom, and granted, there's all an expense with that, but, utilize the time so that when you open, the place looks clean. Sometimes, Mike and I have talked about it. Cleanliness is going to be a big part of reopening and how the perception of, customers look at a restaurant. And, a bathroom is usually one of the main things. So, take the time to spruce it up, maybe, paint, do some new tile work, fix the broken sink, the toilet paper roll, those type of things. Mike, any additional?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, Sal, and they're not always direct clients to us, but we certainly keep an eye on the industry. And look, we don't know everything, but we stay pretty close to the pulse. But there's some operators out there; they're getting creative. There's the tagline right now. In this together, family time. Maybe for some, this is a blessing that it kind of pumped the brakes to see what life is really about in a trying time. But getting creative. Cinco de Mayo's coming up. We're seeing some operators, putting out some family packages that essentially, it's going to be different this year. You may not be going out for happy hour Cinco de Mayo, but you could bring the food in and celebrate in that fashion and try to have some excitement. And
Sure.
I think being positive, keeping an eye on your business. If you are closed, make sure that there's been no plumbing issues, no vandalism, just being ready.
Sure.
We don't know when the reopen happens, but we all hope it is coming soon, and in what capacity to be determined.
Sure. I mean, the reality is every operator needs to do what they need to do for their business and their families, of course. I mean, a lot of restaurants are family-run businesses, so it affects more than just, what you think of, right? They have their families to feed, and it's a lot of hours in the restaurant industry. We know how much they sacrifice to just be there, and the chefs and the work they do. We've seen, you mentioned the family meals. I mean, we already went through Easter. We have Cinco de Mayo coming, and Mother's Day is coming as well, which is one of the biggest days to eat out at restaurants overall. So Mother's Day is coming. I've seen a lot of restaurants preparing family meals in the takeout already. As far as happy hour goes, I've seen a lot of restaurants doing things like virtual pub crawls. There's towns are getting together, right? So you're seeing a lot more community where, like, the Patchogues, the Babylons, the Bayshore, they're doing virtual pub crawls. It's pretty cool to see that for, the younger generation, or, the people that want to be out, obviously, and have a sense there. 317 Main is doing a live streaming concert tonight with Phil Smith.
Okay.
So, there's lots of different things happening at different restaurants. It's really cool to see the creativity, the ingenuity, because we know chefs and restaurateurs, I mean, they're creative people, right? In and of itself.
Make the best of it, because we certainly still have a few weeks to go till they decide, is it deemed safe? So if you could bring it together, maybe in this capacity too, through a Zoom meeting where it's 2 families, 3 families getting together and they all ordered their own food, and you're supporting your local business, kind of getting a break from the cooking. That's that's a good thing. I've cleaned a lot more dishes over the past few weeks than I've had prior, but remaining positive is probably the best medicine on all fronts.
Absolutely. I definitely have dishpan hands as well. So you remember those commercials from like the 80s? Or were they the Dawn commercials, right? Those dishpan hands. So yeah, we're all suffering from that for sure. But I definitely appreciate my breaks. We had takeout this week. I went to Shrimpies, which is a new burrito place in Massapequa Park. I've ordered from Restoration Kitchen in Lindy. I've ordered from Cornucopia in Amityville. That's my little area of place to kind of get stuff. Yeah. So it's been great to be able to support them during this time as well.
Yeah, so I think when they look to reopen, it's going to be, very important that they give a certain impression, understanding that, cleanliness is going to be a key factor. So I think, I think we put a post of one of our clients up the other day that had a break-in, but you noticed that they had a little flyer in the window that says our establishment was sanitized by this certain company. Things like that, I think, are going to be important. I think, one of the ideas that I've heard that I think has, some really good merit and legs would be, going to your town and city, officials and asking them to maybe like close down Main Street so that they can extend their seating onto the street, so that if the capacity gets reduced inside, they can extend some of the capacity outside. I know President Trump last night had a scientist on talking about solar and sunlight and killing the disease. And, he made a pretty bold statement saying, hey, this summer, I'm not going to be eating outside. We're going to be doing a lot of barbecues and eating outside. So I think that kind of translates to, if these restaurants can get together and go to their town officials and say, hey, give us that opportunity, close down the streets, give us more table capacity outside to help us stay in business. Things like that, I think, will get them back up to, the 100% capacity, whether it's all inside or a combination of both, tied in with having to do curbside and delivery. That's going to be a new norm. I don't think that's going to go away. And I think a lot of restaurants have, had their eyes opened a little to say, hey, this curbside delivery takeout could be a big portion of our business that we never looked at.
Have you seen any restaurants, either if they're clients or not, but restaurants that have been stepping up to help the community, to help frontline workers? Any examples of that you guys have seen that have been really great?
Yeah, we have. And some direct to us. Bourbon Street in Bayside, Queens has been feeding the hospitals. Flower Shop helping out some of the soup kitchens. Babylon Burger Bar. The Burgerology group stepped up to feed frontline heroes. Many of the, some are clients of ours, many of the Gino's Pizzeria restaurants throughout Long Island have stepped up to feed heroes. So again, getting creative. In New York City, the Sauce Restaurant Group, they were sending out hundreds and hundreds of pies. I mean, there's so many employees in need, working so many hours, and through donations and some matching. So a lot of creativity in this, and others that are doing the curbside pickup, takeout, getting creative, going more back to not necessarily feeding frontline, but helping their business forward, that maybe offering future discounts, whether it's dine-in or takeout. Everyone's out there fighting and trying to help each other. So yeah, there's so much good. Premier is seeing a big piece of it, but there's so much bigger of a pie out there of going on. A lot of it you see through the media channels, but we're certainly trying to do a part, offering a give back. Any clients coming aboard, offering a significant discount, and with that discount, using it to feed forward to some of these healthcare workers or someone in need. So Vinny and I have been in communication, doing just the final details of that, but essentially, purchasing back to a new client, feeding others, and the restaurant is showing to do good, and just helping them get off their feet when the restart happens.
So is there anything else that you guys want to share about your business or the restaurant industry that we didn't cover today that you want to get to?
Ben, anything else?
Just that, I guess to sum it up, that, where we see a lot of value in Premier is the fact that we speak to so many restaurateurs, and we kind of are a conduit of information. We hear a lot of creative ideas that some restaurants are doing, and we try to pass that information forward. We've worked with companies that we're working with a gift card company right now that does virtual gift cards instead of physical gift cards, to give customers the opportunity to buy a gift card from their favorite restaurant but not need to go in. Some of these restaurants aren't open, so it's giving the restaurant the opportunity to bring in some revenue right now that, if they were just selling the physical gift cards, wouldn't be available to them right now. We're working with auditing companies that look at merchant processing processing statements to kind of see if there's any savings that can be done. Also, some sterilization companies that are going into restaurants through steam cleaning and cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the tables, cleaning the bar, things like that we're hearing from certain clients, and then we try to relay it to the rest of our clients to let them know what's going on, in the marketplace, so that when they are ready to reopen, they're fully prepared, and there's no one that's that far further advanced than they are to kind of, create the impression that they're ready, they're safe, and they're ready to go and do some business.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys, obviously, you're great guys. I know you through the Long Island Food Council. It's great to hear how much you're doing to help restaurants and spread, positive information as well as useful information for these restaurants. If there's any restaurants listening that maybe haven't heard of you guys before, what's the best way to get in touch with you right now? How do they reach out? How do they find you?
I think the fastest way is through internet, www.premierpayrollny.com. Our office number is 631-403-5088. And, Vinny and I, when engaged with customers or referral partners, everybody has our cell phone number. So once we start communication, that communication is key on that holds true personally, professionally. So we build lasting relationships. We're always looking out for others. Again, it wasn't by accident that we've had success. This is May will be our 5th year in business, and it's been an upward trend. We always try to give back to local community or charities, and that's not going to stop. We're definitely battered by the storm, but not broken. So Premier's here to stay. We're going to continue to help the industry that we're so passionate about, and we just help our clients in general, just to ensure they have lasting success, because again, it flows over to us. So in good times and in bad, we're going to be in this together.
Awesome. Yeah. Vinny, Mike from Premier, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I think this was very insightful for people to hear a little bit of behind the scenes in the restaurant and hospitality industry. So I just want to thank you guys again for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys, and I'm sure we'll have a long lasting relationship as well. So
looking forward to it. Thank you, Sal.
Thank you, Sal.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to The Big Food Talk, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. Subscribe on iTunes and wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes takes, or watch complete episodes on YouTube. Don't forget to make a donation at bigfoodtalk.com.